Hello, hi there. So we're going to be talking about why is he suddenly distant? What to do if a guy you are dating or in a relationship with starts to pull away. Okay, so I'm Naomi Thompson. I'm a dating and relationship coach, and I help accomplished women attract and keep the love of their lives. I go live every Wednesday and I will answer your questions live. Today, we're talking about what to do when a guy pulls away. This is such an asked for topic. But also in the chat, do pop your questions and I will get to them at the end. Um, so, what is pulling away? What is it when a guy is pulling away? Okay, so maybe you've been dating someone, and I remember this really clearly when I was dating. Maybe you've been on some dates with someone and he's been really keen. Like he has been messaging you and texting you and there every morning in your messages, and he's been calling and arranging dates. In his language, he's been really kind of affectionate, wanting to, arrange more dates and telling you how much he likes you. Then what can happen is you get really used to that feeling. And often then what happens is as man's energy starts to shift and he pulls away. That could be for any number of reasons. And sometimes you may relate to this because so many people I have coached and spoken to said, and I experienced this myself, is that you may be someone and you've been hurt before. So you kind of think, okay, I'm not going to fully open my heart. I'm going to keep some of my guard up until I really see that he's into me, until I really kind of see that he is like sticking around. And so what happens is the guy will pursue, the guy will pursue, the guy will pursue. And then you go, oh, okay, I'm going to trust him now. I'm going to open my heart. And this awful thing can happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen that as soon as you open up your heart, he starts to pull away. Now, tell me in the chat if you're live, if you can resonate with this and relate to this, if you had experience. And if you're watching the replay, please do pop something in the comments below and let me know. Let me know what more you want to hear on this topic, because it's just so real and so painful and so confusing. So we cannot say exactly what happens and why a man does this, but I can talk to you about some of the reasons why he may do this. And some of the reasons a man may do this is if he has quite a deep down fear of intimacy. When you are guarded, when you have got your guard up, there is an energy about you that a man who is quite fiercely independent, a guy who is maybe a little bit afraid of intimacy, he is going to feel drawn to that part of you that's guarded. So, I've spoken about this before, but I want to share this again for any of you who are new to me, or just to refresh you on this idea. I work with the idea that we unconsciously attract a partner who has the same tolerance for intimacy that we do. We think we want this super closeness and this sort of wonderful intimacy. But actually, if you have got to this point when you've been in the wrong relationship again and again and again, I'd just take on the idea, darling, you probably do have a certain level of a fear of intimacy. So if deep down, unconsciously, we attract a partner who has the same tolerance for intimacy we do. So say like, here's you and here's the latest guy who started pulling away. So it's like there's an unconscious agreement that this is the amount of closeness you'll get. Yeah. Any more distance doesn't feel quite safe to you, but we'll talk about that again in a minute. But also on a deep level, any more closeness with a man doesn't quite feel safe. And I know you may be thinking, no, I absolutely want closeness. But this is a really real thing that happens. So what happens is you unconsciously choose someone who has the same tolerance for intimacy. So if you are showing yourself as more aloof, as more guarded, a man on a deep level, a man who's is afraid of intimacy is going to feel on a deep level that you are safe. You're not going to expect any more closeness, too much intimacy. and you will be very attractive to him. That's why I always say to women, you really want to have your heart open all the time. You don't have to have your heart open to every guy. It's like you're not going to have a relationship with just anyone or have sex with just or anyone or even share any of your time with just anyone. But what I want is for you to have your heart open to your feelings and your experiences, the experience of life. And so what happens is, here's you. Here's him. He's been pursuing you, pursuing you, pursuing you. You've been really, really, really enjoying that. So you let down some of your guard, and maybe you start to lean into him. Maybe you start to lean in, tell him that you're feeling really good feelings towards him. You're really into him. And then what happens is, if a guy starts pulling away, you're not going to want to close down that distance between you. I know. So what happens is you will start to pull forward towards him. Now, then if a really great guy comes along, a guy who is solid and dependable and loving and the kind of guy who can give you the relationship you want, but maybe there isn't the instant chemistry with him yet, he will come towards you because his intimacy tolerance is probably closer than yours at that time. He'll come towards you. You may find yourself pulling away. You may find yourself pulling away and having the thoughts of, there's just not enough chemistry. I just don't find him attractive. Okay. So, you will have heard me talk about how we need to raise our tolerance for intimacy, but also what we need to do is, in the process of that, is learn how to keep our hearts open. So a guy who is the kind of guy who's just going to be hot and cold, who's going to keep pulling away, will become you will become not so attractive to him. Those kind of guys will fall away. Okay? And that's what we really want. So sometimes, as I said before, a guy will pull away because maybe he has a deep down fear of intimacy. And once you start to offer more closeness and intimacy, that doesn't feel safe to him. So he pulls away. We don't have to analyze that too much because that's over there with him. The real juice and the magic happens with you and what you do with this and what you do with these feelings. So, other reasons a man can start to pull away is if you are in a relationship with a guy. Maybe you are great at, okay, so if you're in a relationship and your guy gets kind of a bit shut down and he gets annoyed with some of the things you say, but maybe he doesn't say much about it, or he's just a bit snippy. Or sometimes your guy may literally just be taking time out and you could be feeling a lot of anxiety. So a guy can also be pulling away because we are overgiving and overdoing for him. A masculine energy man is going to really value what he works for. He is going to want to win your heart. And I don't just mean, so he can get you into bed. That's the goal for some guys. But the kind of guy you're looking for a long-term relationship, he is going to want to win your heart. It is going to make him feel really good to surprise you, to delight you, to make you happy, to be able to solve problems from day one of dating right through your relationship and marriage together. He's going to want to feel trusted and respected as someone who can take the lead, make mistakes, clear up after himself without you having to remind him. So when a guy does pull away, what happens inside of us? When you want closeness and the object of your desire starts to pull away, you might feel that automatic urge to bridge the gap. As I said, by overgiving, by being helpful or loving or extra sweet. This is all about us, getting into the habit of showing him what a great woman you are, what a great catch you are. Sometimes chasing him and bridging that gap and overgiving is talking a lot about the relationship with him. Or by the same token, actually not speaking up because you don't want to rock the boat. That's something I used to do. didn't want to rock the boat, wanted to come across as cool. I was the cool girl. And I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want for someone to feel like I was a bit high maintenance. Now, if you've heard me speak before, you'll know I'm all about high maintenance, but for me, I'm high maintenance when it comes to affection, when it comes to communication, when it comes to feeling safe and secure and clear. That's how I'm high maintenance. And a masculine energy guy is going to love that, but as long as it's not demanded of him. So, in dating, sometimes a guy, as I said before, pulls away because there's a fear of intimacy. However, what often men can do when they pull away is because they feel micromanaged. So, micromanaging a guy is telling him where to park when he comes for a date with you, planning the date, telling him where you should meet. In a relationship, it looks like reminding him of the chores that need doing in the house or his chores. In any way, and it doesn't mean you never ever say, "Hey, we still need to do this in the house or this," but just notice if you kind of feel a bit naggy. If you can hear a naggy voice, then it is most likely that you are being in your masculine energy. You are chasing after him. And keep watching my videos because there are so many ways that you can express yourself to a man. This isn't about just keeping quiet. Okay, yes, I can see, Raquel. You always want to keep the peace. You don't want to be seen as high maintenance. I don't understand because I hear men saying they want a nice woman, low maintenance. Okay. Okay. So really, guys, yes, they want warm, receptive, appreciative women who trust them. They also want a woman who speaks up for herself and has clear boundaries for herself. That is incredibly attractive to a man. And by speaking up, I mean expressing your feelings, telling him what you do want and what you don't want, what makes you feel good and what doesn't make you feel good. Even if it seems unreasonable or not logical. So let me give you an example. When me and my lovely partner were first dating, he was wonderful. He planned all the dates and he still does. We're going out tonight. He planned it. However, the conversation about paying on dates came up after a while. And I said, well, and I shared with him, and many women find this difficult because it doesn't seem logical. And we want to fit in with a guy's logic. But I would say, I think I said to my partner, I said, well, of course I can afford to pay half of our dates. However, it makes me feel more like I'm out with my brother than a romantic partner. So if I was out for dinner, with my partner, I wouldn't feel good paying for dinner. It would make me feel kind of turned off. And then I asked him his thoughts. So I'm going against the logic. The logic says modern times, you should both pay half on the date. But to hell with that. We're talking about juicy, polarized relationships where you both really feel satisfied. So keeping the peace, Raquel, is going to make you feel resentful and angry. It's going to make you feel resentful and angry. I want you to choose how you are high maintenance. Are you high maintenance when it comes to communication? Are you high maintenance when it comes to affection? Are you high maintenance because you know you don't want to have sex with someone until you're in a committed relationship? Are you high maintenance because you don't want to live with a man until you're engaged? Now, if you are in your early 20s, 30s, or even in your 40s, and you are wanting marriage, family, and all that comes with that, I would say be high maintenance about not living with a guy until you are engaged. Be high maintenance about not having sex with him until you're in a committed relationship that really feels like it's going somewhere. Now, that kind of high maintenance, what guys don't want is drama. That's what they struggle with. And drama feels like high maintenance for them because it feels confusing. It feels like drama is when we are not really truly expressing what's going on inside of ourselves. Maybe there's shouting and slamming doors. Maybe there's silent treatment. That feels like drama to a guy. But actually speaking to a guy and saying, I'm feeling really crappy about that. I feel I feel really resentful about how Valentine's went, and I feel horrible at myself for feeling resentful, but I can't help it. Communicating clearly makes a man feel safe. Okay, Tracy says, I am apparently high maintenance due to actually expecting decent levels of communication. Yeah, of course you should expect decent levels of communication. But what we need to also do is be the reciprocal for that. So we need to be the reciprocal for what we are looking for. So if we are looking for decent levels of communication, we also need to communicate at a very decent level. It's not demanding, not telling a guy what to do. It's not stroppy. What it is expressing yourself with warmth and clarity. I'm actually writing a course at the moment. So if you really want to hear about my course, I'm writing a course about feminine communication. I'm also writing a course about dating. So if you want to hear more about that course, I'm thinking the best way you can do that. Okay, if you go to the description of this video and just click to get my free audio training, that will put you on my newsletter list. So you'll get notified as soon as those courses go live. So why do we chase? Why the hell do we chase? As I said to you before, it's like, okay, so you've met this guy and you've both felt this tolerance for intimacy that feels safe on a deep level. And if he pulls away, which could be that if you're dating, he's just not interested for whatever reason. And actually, I'll talk more about that, about guys being interested or not, and how that kind of a different perspective on it. But if he pulls away, that increased gap feels awful. It just feels awful. It triggers everything inside of you. So what we want is because it triggers all those fears of abandonment, fear of losing him. Darlings, it's in our biology to need to feel safe and secure in our man's love, to be able to surrender to him, to surrender our body to the relationship, to have sex, to be able to feel safe to get pregnant and carry a child, to raise a family. We need to feel safe and secure. That's why we are so freaked out when our man, he seems like he may be cheating or he's unfaithful. It's awful. And it's naturally awful. It's going to feel awful. That's so natural. So you need to feel safe. You need to feel secure. But when you are in the dating phase, what we want is for you not to get invested in any guy. So how do we do that? Well, I'll share so much of it in my dating course, but you want to be dating. If you are dating, you are wanting marriage, you're wanting a committed relationship. In the early stages of dating, you want to be dating different guys. No exclusivity with any guy until he has shown you who he is, and he's shown you he really wants the relationship you want, and he wants it with you, and you feel great about that. You've got good communication. He's really clear that he wants to be with you. Then you can allow yourself to feel invested in the relationship. And something I always say is the relationship you want is the prize, not the man. The relationship you want is your North Star. It's what you're going for. The man is part of that dream, but he isn't the dream. Because even if something happened to your partner, as it happens every day, you're not broken. You're sad, you're devastated. However, you're not broken. You are always moving towards the relationship you want. So really, the most important thing here And, I do sort of dive deep in my work. We go below surface level strategies here. Is is if you're scared of abandonment, if you have this need to feel safe, we need to be careful you're not abandoning yourself. When we chase a guy who is pulling away, we are abandoning ourselves. Also, we're avoiding the painful feelings because we're trying to fix it. Chasing a guy when you're dating can also look like just messaging him cute messages because you haven't heard from him all day, just to kind of remind him you exist. And what that does is it brings about an urgent energy about you. And you know what? The right guy is going to work really hard to stay in your life. What we need from you is for you to just learn to be open, to be receptive. And another reason why it's important not to chase is because then your happiness becomes dependent on his behavior. Your happiness will be dependent on, is he calling me? No, we want your happiness to be dependent on your level of inner strength, how you feel about yourself, the things you do to make you feel great each day, the connections you have in life. And having a great relationship feels great, but it's not the only thing that gives you your sense of happiness, your sense of peace of mind. And that is just really, really important. So, I do have another question here, but I also just want to talk about how can you fix this? One thing I would say is literally if you feel like there's a guy and he's pulling away and he's distancing in yourself and everything in you is going, I just really want him, literally lean your body back. Literally lean your body back. Lean your body back in the chair. Lay back on your bed. Lean your body back against the couch or the kitchen worktops. Just lean your body back and soften all your muscles. See, what you're doing here is you're doing the opposite of what your instinctive habit is. So when, our habit is to go into tension and action and lean forward. Now what we're doing is we're going softening, leaning back, softening the muscles. What you will do then is you'll be more aware of what's happening inside of you. You'll be more aware of your feelings. It's something we try and escape, and I will talk more about that in another video. So, yes, this is an incredible subject. And actually, if you've really enjoyed this, there is another video I've linked below, and hopefully there'll be a little sort of tag button to press to watch it after this video. It's a video called How to Hear a Man's No. It's a really old video I've done. It's very grainy. I'll probably re-record it, but it's real gold in there. How to hear a man's no. Because if a guy is pulling away, he's not pursuing you, chances are he is saying no. And if you find yourself in your masculine energy a lot, check out the Inner Boy Masterclass. I recorded that with my colleague and teacher, Rory Ray. I teach her relationship coach training. She's a friend of mine and a colleague. We've known each other for many years, and she trained me many years ago. We did the Inner Boy Masterclass. I'd love for you to have it. So it's linked in the description below. It'll really help you if you find yourself in your masculine energy a lot. That action, overthinking, leaning forward, wanting to chase, wanting to pursue. So I am going to answer this question. Nemi, I'm wondering how soon to tell men that I live with a health condition. This is a really great question. I have ME, and because of this, I don't work and have low energy. I feel terrified of being rejected because of this. Okay, I'll definitely answer that question. Hi, everybody who has joined. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat below. I'm at the question point of this live, and please do feel free to watch back at everything we've been discussing and pop your comments in the comments section. Okay, I would say let a man know straight off. Like, okay, when you're first messaging, maybe not, but as you are When you meet him, maybe as you're coming to the second date, I'll just let him know, just say, look, there's something I really wanted to share with you. I have this health condition. This is how it shows up. This is how it affects me. And I just wanted to be really honest and open. And then he may say, well, do you know what? I'm just such an active person. That may not work. You want a guy to disqualify himself. If a guy disqualifies himself, that's perfect. It's minimal effort for you. And there's a whole thing here about rejection. When any of us, we've all turned guys down, haven't we? All of us have at some point. And it may be just something in him that you're not drawn to, you're not attracted to, but it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with him. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. If someone isn't a match for you, they're just not a match for you. You, all of you, there's nothing special about you that excludes you from love. You're all worthy of love. But not everybody is going to feel attracted to all of us. And when also we have wounds, we have deep wounds. And when they're not healed, sometimes we are looking for someone who we can heal those wounds with. And we will be really attracted. They call it trauma bonding. I'm not a therapist, so I've got my experience as a coach. But often, and in my experience in seeing my clients, when we are still really wounded, often we will be drawn to someone who has that same level, a similar level of wounding, different experiences, but a similar level. So people who are maybe a bit more steady and solid may not be so attractive to you. So that can happen the other way around as well. A guy may be looking for someone he can be a bit more dysfunctional with on a deep level. And if you've been doing your work, you're self-aware, you may not, you're going to be looking for a deeper connection. You'll be going to be capable of closer intimacy. So someone may reject you if that doesn't feel safe for them, if that feels threatening for them on some level, if they're scared of intimacy. So what I would say, they do say rejection is God's protection, and it's a really great mantra to have. It really is, because the right man for you is going to make it really, really obvious he wants to be in your life. Please do post any more questions. I can see some more people have joined. I would love to hear from you. So we were just speaking about what to do when a guy becomes distant, what to do if he pulls away. If you've joined late, please go back to the replay and go and watch my next video. My old grainy video all about how to hear a man's no. I'll see you over in that video, and I will see you on next week's live. Loads of love to you all. Bye-bye.